welcome to Upgrade. I'm your host, Frank the Tank, and today I'm going to bring a little special item here. It might not be needed now. Some of the motherboards do have them, but older motherboards might require it. So this is a USB connection. If you ever try to connect multiple items into your motherboard with the connection of the USB, then you've been probably missing one or two maybe. Now that you have all these RGB lightings, water pumps that need to be connected to it, you sometimes have to sacrifice your connection, but this is a solution. We're going to open it up and see what you get, and we're also going to connect it here so you guys can check it out. So if you guys have any questions or any comments, hit me up. All right, let's go ahead and continue. So we're going to go ahead and unlock this sucker and see what you guys get when you buy something like this. This is inexpensive item. You can actually buy different connectors on Amazon, and I actually bought this one on Fry's. So we're going to go ahead and unlock it. And first of all, what you get is the USB cable, right? This is the actual connector where you're going to connect this from the motherboard to the system. All right, so you probably have extra ones. If you don't, they give you one here. So if you don't have an extra one, they give you an extra cable, and these are the actual pins that you need. And it's require, what is it, 1 2 3 4 8 9 pins connector. So 9-pin connectors, both of them USB to USB. They give you the instructions if you're not familiar with this type of connection. And then let's go ahead and open the piece of resistance. Now on this one particular, it's a little bulky. Whoa, it's a little bulky. So we're gonna put this on the side and we're gonna zoom in and see what you get. You need to have a power on this particular. It needs to be a SATA connection power. If you guys can see it, power connection here. Power connection, and then you have the main motherboard. This is his MB. This one goes to the actual motherboard, and then you have 1 2 and 3 connections, and then you have internal 2 USBs. This could be mounted on the side of the computer or internally in the side of the computer. You could do a double-sided tape if you want. It's up to you. I'm gonna give you guys the model number here if you guys can see it. This particular item, it's actually cheaper and smaller if you buy them through Amazon. I'm gonna put a couple of links, a couple of pictures of what you guys can get if you don't need something like this elaborate. But because I have internal pumps, water pumps that require USB, and sometimes you could do from USB to USB. It's pretty simple from internal system. So let me show you what I'm talking about when you buy something like this, and why do you need it, or is it required? So let's bring in a motherboard so you guys can see a little test of how it works. All right, so we're gonna bring a motherboard. This is an old motherboard. It's burned out already, so I'm using it only for educational purposes. That's what it is for. And if you guys seen the motherboard, when you guys get a motherboard, if you have an older motherboard, it might look a little different. It might look newer. It depends on the type of motherboard you have. But in particular, some motherboards, they only have giving you 2 USBs space. So what I'm talking about, it says here, let me bring it up here so you guys can see it. USB 1 and USB 2 right here. There's 2 USBs, and sometimes one USB is taken by the actual tower because you have USB inputs on there. So this is 2.0, of course, USB 2.0. It's not 3.1 because 3.1 is a bit different. 3.1 will be on pretty much on the side of the system, and it will look blue. So that's how it looks. So this is USB 1 and 2. There's 2 of them in here if you guys can see them. And mostly, like I said, the tower takes one, and then another item takes another one. Either it could be your water pump, it could be a fan, it could be an internal RGB lighting, it could be powering up something else. So pretty much you might run out of space in here and you might need another one. So this is where this actual little USB hub comes in. So what you need to do on one of them, you will have to disconnect one of them, and what you need to connect is the USB, which is one USB, and there's no way wrong doing it. There's one missing. There's like a blocked out one, and you have to find it on the motherboard where it's blocked out. What you have to do, you have one for your tower, and then another one you have to connect it to this one. And this particular area, it's very simple. It tells you exactly where to go. So there's one item missing, one little block. It's blocked out right now, and all you have to do is find it where it's missing the pin, and you have to just pin it down, and that's it. This will be a motherboard hub, a USB hub for multiple items in there, and then you have 1 2 and 3. It gives you 3 additional ones, but before that you would also require power in here, so you need to connect this to a SATA connection, right? A SATA connection would be directly plugged into here, and then you have 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5 USBs. But these are actually USB connections that are required to connect directly either to a water pump, to another part of the tower if you have multiple USB connections. And you can also add lighting in there if you have other things that you need to power up through USB or set up. You could do multiple things, and this is a great option to have for those people that only have maybe one USB on their motherboard and require 2 or 3. So this is a great option. I like the frame itself, and you could stick it anywhere you want, on top of the computer, on the side of it, right on it could be on the outside if you want, if you have a connection. And they do have converters from this type of pin connection, 9-pin connection, to regular USBs. They do have converters, and in fact they have the USB the B and B, A and B, I guess, connection that you could transfer. Different types of connections that you could transfer through. So they convert into different USBs, which is not bad. I mean, this is an old technology. Sooner or later, it's going to be outdated and might not be required down the line, because everything's going through Type C. Type C could power video and pretty much do everything, voice, internet, and data transfers through that cable. So all these new desktops that are coming out, these towers, don't really require this, but some of the motherboards are actually getting rid of all the USBs. And I've seen only one USB on the motherboard, and then I needed a secondary. So I had one tower that connected directly to here, and then I needed a water pump to connect it, but unfortunately there was no other secondary connection. So that's why I actually purchased this for a motherboard that only has one item. If you have any questions or any comments, hit me up. I'm your host, Frank the Tank, out.